Well, welcome back, everybody. Um, I've been doing my old school weathering technique. All right. Um, this car looked like this when I first got it. All right, except for the thumbprint down there. Um, and I'm just gonna show you how to do that. I know that Ron's Trains and Things has a weathering contest going on right now, and I'm not entered in that at all. So I'll let you guys enter that. All right. First thing I did was I took a little bit of oxide brown and some yellow to make a good light rust color, and all that is water in the paint. That's it. I used black, just plain black, to make nice black wash, and I used granite gray, as most of the ballast that I'll be using will be a limestone, more bluish in color, and there's limestone gray. It's nothing but about 10 parts water to a part or two of paint. Alright, and all I do is I take my brush here. Now let me spin this car around to the unweathered side. Okay, I've not really planned on using these on the layout just yet, but I'm hoping to use them soon. But I literally put the coat on very heavy. Alright, it'll dry a lot thinner than what it looks like now, but just some black for right now. Get it on there nice and heavy. You literally want to see it just dribble itself. Alright, you want it to follow where it's going to follow, because where it's going to follow is exactly, because it is water, is exactly where the rust would be, where the grime would build, and everything else, because the simple fact is the water. As rain hits things, it'll pick up on things and run them right down. So you can literally just use the fact that it is water to your advantage, that most of the paint has water in it, and most of it's going to dribble off. And crap, I forgot to move that. My bright boy's still sitting on my workbench. Right now I've got my layout going, so you might hear that, and you might also hear the wife watching her football in the background if she'll yell at the TV or something. My wife loves football. I particularly don't really care for it, but just use the water to your advantage. And the water dribbles down and will set and pool in places, and where it pools, it'll be heavier amounts of dirt and grime. Alright, now I'm going to let this one dry, and the reason why I pulled 3 cars is so that you can see the different techniques. This is the same technique that I'm using, just all 3 layers on the side of this C&O 2-bay hopper. This is one that I am planning on putting back into service on the layout. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do rust. Just the rust, okay? I'm going to get some of that rust and just put it on there nice and heavy. Alright? It might look kind of sad at the first start, but believe it or not, this will get a lot lighter when it dries, because for the most part all this rust color will dribble off. And I do one car side at a time. Alright. I think here comes the dog too, but I'm gonna get these end sills. Why in the world's this train stalled? I'll fix the stalled train here in a second. Just that color in there on that foot plate. Alright, so that's just going to sit there, and as it dries up, the rust color will stick in. Alright, now this is about the only time I do try to clean my brush out a little bit. the road dust and dirt. Alright. This one here doesn't have any yet. But this one here is the only time that you actually aim for the bottom. Is when you're trying to get your road dust on there, because at places it's going to kick up, you know. Let's mix that up a little bit better. And this is my granite gray, I think. Yeah, granite gray. And I literally put it in from the bottom, flip it back down, and let it dry just like that. And it will lighten up the bottom of the car, just like the dirt kicking up will lighten the bottom of the car. Then you come on back and you hit where the wheels will be, where it'll be kicking up the ballast dust. And when done, I think I did the wrong side of the car. No, I haven't hit the pin central with it yet, so I don't actually have a dried example of that, I guess. But that's how I've been doing my weathering here lately. Every now and again, if a car doesn't look weathered enough to me, I'll just pull it off and give it another wash like this. You can go from being pretty clean to this Penn Central car that I made as dirty as possible. I don't like the Penn Central too much. That's our little secret. But there you go. And I'm going to be getting couplers and trucks for these newer cars that I've recently acquired. I could use cars. Alright, I'll be right back with final thoughts, and some of it might be a little bit of bad news, okay? Okay, everybody, this is final thoughts. This morning, very early in the morning, I'm talking before the sun even come up, I went outside and went to getting to work on the bench work for the big layout. Unfortunately, there ain't nothing I can do with those doors. The shed door was left open. A stray animal got into my shed and tore up a bunch of things, causing things to fall over, putting holes, big holes, in the hollow core doors. So unfortunately, I'm going to be abandoning my large layout for a longer period of time than what I originally thought. However, I do have my portable layout here that needs to be made to be protected. I am planning on moving home very shortly, back to Maryland, and I want to be able to protect this layout. Last time we moved out here, I had a tarp over it and quite a few small detail parts got destroyed. In the 3 years we've been out here, I've put a lot more details into it. I don't want to see them get destroyed on the way home. So my main focus is going to be, and I will show you how to do this, protecting a layout and shipment. How to build a crate to go over a portable layout or sections of a layout. And I think that's going to be about the most useful thing that any of us could actually get anything out of from me for a while. I really don't like the idea of me having to postpone building the big layout. I did have a plan for it. I was planning on using it with a tip jar and actually making money for a rare disease that hit me kind of hard called limb body wall complex. You can go ahead and look that up. That's what my daughter Madison had, the reason why I built this layout for my personal use instead of just a temporary layout. So, you know, don't get me wrong, donations are still greatly appreciated on my Patreon, but what we're going to see is a change of direction from the big layout to how to improve the smaller one, including track maintenance and everything else, because I'm going to be adding a lot more feeders to this, because this just driving me nuts. I do have plenty of wire to do that though. So just bear with me. a little bit longer. I should be able to get to the big layout very shortly. It's just going to be postponed for a little bit. I'm changing from hollow core doors to, I'm going to use 2x2s and 1/8 inch masonite hardboard for the base. It's much cheaper than a hollow core door because I went looking for hollow core doors of approximate sizes that I would need, and I just about wanted to put a bullet in my brain because of the price. You're talking about, for a 18 inch by 80 inch hollow core door, $32. I can get 4 2x2s. Well, actually, I only need 3 2x2s to build a layout that size. And a piece of masonite hardboard. That in total cost about $12. And that should be a constant 12 to 15 bucks throughout the United States. You know, materials are pretty cheap, especially when you're talking about lumber. But yes, there are things that I would still like to improve on this layout. Number one thing that I'd like to improve on is equipment. Next thing is I need to redo some scenery. My cat got up here and decided that she was going to use my layout as a scratching post. Needless to say, if you wonder why I don't like cats, that's a pretty good idea why. But yeah, I had to clean the track pretty bad. I cleaned out the wheel sets, and how I do that is with paper towel and CRC Electromotive Electric Parts Cleaner. Now, if I can get that glare to go away. Alright. This is about $14 a can, but one can will last you about 2 years. And that's more than enough. Heck, you get finished with the layout, go spray down the alternator in your vehicle, keep it running longer. You can hit the contacts on your battery, keep the battery lasting a little longer because it won't add as much corrosion to it. You know, that's a good product just to have laying around the house for just about anything. Alright, well, I'm going to get it going. Have a good one. Good night.